Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Hollywood After Dark. It is Wednesday, the 21st of January, not July, 2026. Tonight we're going to be talking about wait, hold on, I'm screwing it up here. Sinner, Chicken Dinner. Why Sinners is up for 15 Academy Award nominations possibly. The new writer of the Batman, Brave and the Bold, and a whole bunch more. It's Hollywood After Dark. You know what time it is. Let's fucking go. Good evening, everybody. How goes it? It's Wednesday night. Hope you're all doing well. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes behind. Had laundry issues. Currently trying to stay warm. It's cold here in Washington. Very cold. I'm right next. Seriously, my setup is right next to big-ass bay windows. Like, half of the wall next to me is all bay windows. So I'm trying to stay warm, but my sweatshirt got dirty. So I had to pull it out of the dryer. Still a little damp, sitting in a room cold as shit. So let's hope I survive. So I'll be laughing a lot tonight, probably, about a lot of crazy shit. Anywho, let's take a look here at the chat. What's going on? Parallax says, please, no AI talk tonight, or I might have to shove it down your ass. Yes, we had an encounter last night with a young lad who did not like our coverage of what was known as my wholly earned intellectual property, the new animated series coming from me and me alone, in no relation to anybody else. Of course, obviously, I'm referring to Buntastic here. That is very much the story that is coming only from me. Only from me. No one else has come up with the name Buntastic. It is only I. It's only that. Only that. Thank you, though. Let's see here. Ahsoka Tano for 5. Thank you so much. Thanks for the movie recommendation. I watched Angus and thought it was a good movie. Oh, I'm glad you watched it. I really am glad you liked it. It's one I saw like back when it came out a couple of times in theaters. I want to say I saw it at least 3 times in theaters. It was one time it was playing as a double feature with Mortal Kombat. And I went with my neighbor. Like, unfortunately, I think it changed like the week after I was able to go see it. Like, I wasn't able to go see it when it was that double feature, but they did a double feature of Apollo 13 and Mortal Kombat. I think that was what I did go see. Either way, dude, 1995 was a banger year to go to the cinemas. And so was 1994 and 1993 and 1996 for 1997. Come on, who could forget 1998, guys? 1999, are you fucking kidding me? It's the bee's knees, baby. The bee's ass knees and shit. You know, I mean, every year's got good reasons to go to the theater, and I would hope to get there again in 2026. I really would hope to get there again in 2026. However, Angus is a classic, dude. Absolute fucking classic. Again, Patrick Reed Johnson and I follow each other on Twitter. Maybe I'll reach out to him and see if I can get him on to come talk about it. I think that would be very interesting to get his take on where things are and his career and everything else. So it's always something there to keep an eye on. Thank you, though. Let's see here. Hold on. H Bars for $2. Thank you. Says Parallax hates your sinner's opinion. I listen here. You may not like my sinner's opinion, but we have to be honest here. My opinion has not changed on that movie. Okay. I've been saying the same thing since last summer when it came out. It's got a solid 2 acts, falls apart in the 3rd act. I've been saying that forever. Now, what got me on that today, by the way, you guys might be wondering like, why? There was an article that Hollywood Reporter, and I had it and I lost it. I got to find it again. Where they're saying that the Hollywood Reporter is basically making the prediction that Sinners might be getting 15 nominations. And I think that's largely ridiculous. But that's just me. Again, I don't think any movie deserves that much. But we will talk about that as we get into it here. Let's see. Steven Ortega asking, am I ready for the new Masters of the Universe tomorrow? Yeah, there's a new teaser that dropped out there today. We can take a look at that real quick. I'm not too sure how I feel about it. And it's not that I'm like against it, but it's kind of like, I think, you know, when the Masters of the Universe movie came out, all the way back in the 80s, you know, that was a big deal. That was a big deal, you know, like legitimately, that was one of those ones where you're like, I'm going to watch a live action He-Man movie. Holy shit. You know what I'm saying? That was a big deal. And then the movie, you know, comes out and people don't like it, which is fine, I guess. But the way I look at it, though, is like, well, you know, like I was, what, 5, 6 years old when that movie came out in 1987. I would have been 5. So, I mean, all the time, I watched it at the age it was meant for. So here's the teaser for this one.
Not long ago, when times were simpler, this was a healthy breakfast. This was a powerful workout. And this was a hero. Perhaps now more than ever, we need that kind of hero again.
So that really doesn't tell us much, and obviously I'll be working before I won't be able to go live tomorrow as a result of all that. But still, it looks. I don't know how to feel about it. Right, this teaser, going here and I mean, like, that's pretty cool, right? Grayskull and everything. I mean, don't get me wrong. When he yells out, "I have the power," right? Like, it's, or by the power of Grayskull. Like, I mean, a lot of people are going to, like, they're going to get chubs. They're going to get chubs and shit. But, like, okay, look at all the toys in the background. Like, what exactly is going on here? Okay. So you see there's like what looks like collectibles and shit. And then, you got the sword here. And the sword just looks CG. It just looks fake to me, right? Like the setting right there looks real, but this just does not look very good. Okay. I'm not shitting on it. I'm just telling you guys like what I think. Okay, so he's like, what, touching it there? Okay. All right, so what, we got Battle Cat, we got She-Ra, we got Man-at-Arms, and then who is this guy over here on the left? I don't know who that is. Wait, who's playing Man-at-Arms? Who's playing? Is that Idris Elba? Who is playing him? Is it no, seriously, like who the fuck? Oh no, not She-Ra, Teela. Teela is Teela, my bad. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, who do we got? Oh, that is, oh my god. Okay, wow. Okay, so you've got Camila Mendes as Teela. Okay. Yeah, Teela. All right. There we go. Okay. And then you've got Jared Leto as Skeletor. That ought to be interesting. Allison Brie is Evil Lynn. Okay. Idris Elba is Man-at-Arms. Okay, fuck. Okay, god damn it, you sold me. Fucking shit. Okay, yeah. Monica Barakin is the sorceress of Castle Grayskull. Oh shit. Johannes Hakkar Johannesson is who is this guy? Who was he? God damn it. He was in Game of Thrones. Who was he in Game of Thrones? Was he the mountain in Game of Thrones? Hold on. Game of Thrones, television, Game of Thrones. I'm trying to find out who he was. He was Lemon Cloak. Okay, my bad. All right, no, not who I was thinking of. Okay, so you got him. You got James Purefoy as King Randor. Holy shit. All right. Sashir Zamata from SNL as Susie, Adam's best friend on Earth. So kind of an Amy character, I'm assuming, from, Marvel's Amy from Shang-Chi. Okay. And Trapjaw's in it. Triclops is in it. Ram Man is, oh, fuck, dude. Kristen Wiig as Roboto. Holy shit. Okay. All right. Maybe you know what? Let them cook, right? Maybe they're on to something. Maybe they're on to something. Let them cook. All right. They got some good casting there. Who's directing it though? No, I got to see this. Who's directing this? Oh, fuck me in the goat ass. Travis Knight is directing this? Okay. Now, okay, hold on. This is gonna be kind of funny. Okay, so right, so we're gonna be talking about Christina Hodson here in a little bit. And she did Bumblebee, wrote Bumblebee. Travis Knight directed Bumblebee, but he's like, but I didn't think Bumblebee was that well of a directed movie. I just didn't think it was that well of a directed movie. And but he's doing this one. Okay. I mean, like, all right, look, I like the casting. Kind of surprised John Cena isn't He-Man, but whatever. All right. But we might get back to that here in a little bit there. Also, Music Man is asking, what is your take? Is my take still on the last Jedi still on this channel? Well, I guess that depends on which take are you referring to, like the initial original video that I made. It's unlisted. I can find it if you want. It's an old one. What up, Anthony? How you doing? Rational here for 5. Thanks, buddy. Man, this Batman news is sitting well with me. And to the late Joel Schumacher, maybe I judged you too harshly. Isn't sitting well. RWB, I hate to admit you're right. Most people do. Okay, so this Batman news is like, it's not going over well. Which is really fascinating. It's not just like the chuds that are all like, oh God, fuck this lady. It really is a lot of people that are just like, nah, I'm good, dog. Like, I'm good. I don't need and for me, it's not even like Andy Muschietti being the problem. I don't think his directing on The Flash was as good as it could have been. I don't think that is a thing at all. I think he's a talented director. I think him working on, from what I've heard about Welcome to Derry, he definitely knows how to still do horror really well. And so why they keep trying to push him out of horror into something like, let's say, more of a colorful take on Batman? And I don't think it's going to be like as insane of a take on Batman as they want it to. You know what I mean? I just don't necessarily, see it like that. The vibe I'm getting out of it is it's going to be like colorful like The Flash. And The Flash is really only colorful in the Speed Force, but still, it's like, I don't know. And I think James Gunn is, I don't know what he's doing with this one. It's like I have thoughts about that. So here's one thing I did put on Twitter, and you guys might agree, you guys might disagree. But one of the things I did say on Twitter was that I thought it was kind of interesting that we got this information almost 3 years to the day, right? Almost 3 years to the day since we got the Gods and Monsters announcement from back in 2023. So if you guys remember here, it was January 31st, 2023, or January 30th, right? One of those days where James Gunn came out and did the whole Gods and Monsters slate announcement. And in that subsequent 3 years, we have had, just Creature Commandos, and we've just had Superman. Obviously, Supergirl's on the way. Obviously, Lanterns is on the way. But Clayface wasn't one that was announced for then. And, neither was Man of Tomorrow, right? But Batman Brave and the Bold was one that they definitely announced. And you figured they would have fast-tracked that, considering that, they want to have 2 Batmen in theaters, which is the stupidest thing. They want to have 2 Batmen running simultaneously. And there's enough time in between the release of the Batman and the Batman Part 2 for them to go like, all right, let's do a completely different take on Batman. So then audiences won't get confused. And so I feel like this is one of those things where it's like we have the quarterly earnings call is coming up very soon from Warner Brothers. Obviously, we talked about that last night, that Netflix is going to be purchasing Warner Brothers Discovery for $27 a share or $28 a share or something. And in an all cash bid. And so obviously the shareholders, want to make sure that, they still have to do the business stuff of kind of making sure the shareholders are happy. So they come out and they make this announcement that she's working on this and Andy Muschietti is directing it. And it's like the Flash, as far as like DC films go, that bombed. You know, you could almost look at Shazam 2, okay, fine, that could bomb. Blue Beetle, okay, fine, that could bomb. But the Flash, even without Ezra Miller's nonsense, it had 89 Batman in it. It had Michael Keaton's Batman in it. It had Michael Shannon's General Zod. I mean, it literally was like an ode to both to everything that came before it, including the Snyderverse. And it still bombed. It still bombed. And then Aquaman came out at the end of the year and just cratered. And so Superman did okay. I don't even know if I would say, all things considered, Superman doing what it did was good, but it wasn't like it didn't do gangbusters. Right? The third Avatar movie, which people just call a rehash of the first movie, the second movie, is has doubled in less time what Superman made. And it's fucking Superman. You know what I mean? So it's that kind of stuff right there. I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting, but again, we'll probably talk more about it. So anyway, let me catch up on the chat here. All right. Let's see here. HWAD5, thank you. Says Parallax thinks me and you hate colorful superhero stuff and only want dark Snyder. You mean Black Snyder? Sorry, I make myself laugh. I have children, okay? Dad jokes are all I got. Fucking let me have this. No, I don't have anything against color. I think the color palettes used in like Guardians were really good. I don't think there was a good color palette that was used in Superman from this last year. It was very muted, very diluted colors. The cinematographer just did not wow me. There's a reason why James Gunn chose to go with somebody else from Man of Tomorrow. A guy who'd worked on like Shogun and television, which is kind of weird that that's what they use. Like, oh, this guy has shot television shows, so now he's shooting a movie. But the cinematographer that James Gunn was using for Superman used him for Suicide Squad, used him for Guardians 2, Guardians 3. And Superman. So he worked with this guy for 4 times, and that guy still shot Flash. So unless they're wanting to, use that guy for the cinematographer for that movie as well, so to bring back, Christina Hodson, Andy Muschietti, and the cinematographer, I don't know, man. I think we're in for an interesting ride. To be fair, if that's the case, but stuff's gonna be said too that even Steven Spielberg has been using the same cinematographer now forever. And his quality of work has gone down considerably. So there's definitely arguments to be made there. Man of Steel had better cinematography. Man of Steel had better everything. That doesn't mean I don't like Superman. It just means I prefer Man of Steel. I can go back to Man of Steel and enjoy every second of that movie and watch it for a litany of reasons. And I can do the same with Superman as well. I've watched it a few times now with the kids. They like it. Okay. There's that. So let's see here. What's going on? Anyway, yeah. I just feel it's, there's a lot there that I agree with H parts. Yeah. Man of Steel is a better Superman film, but also like last year's. Exactly. I'm okay with where things are going. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be critical and have my own, my own thoughts and opinions about where things are going. Man of Steel had that emotional aspect. It did. It had a lot to do with father and son, not just one scene with Pa Kent doing Pa Kent stuff. You had a bunch of stuff with Pa Kent. And you had a lot of, you had a lot going on with all that stuff there, right? The idea about maybe you should or shouldn't do something to protect yourself. What would you do to protect your kid? That kind of thing. Being a father. Man of Steel was about being a father. Superman was kind of about like, well, just be the best version of you that you can be, kiddo. Which is a good argument to make as well. They need to get a new costume designer for Man of Tomorrow. The idea there, see, this is the thing, right? It's kind of like with the Batman and with Superman. Both characters are in like their second and third year, right? They're so early in the game. And so the motorcycle suit that they were using for Superman kind of makes sense considering that like it could probably handle friction and speed, which is kind of the point, I think, of using it. But we'll see what happens, as we go into this next movie. Are they going to upgrade the suit? I don't know. Right now, who's going to upgrade the suit? Is it going to be Lex Luthor upgrading the suit because we know that he gets that suit of armor, right? So is he going to upgrade the Man of Steel suit? Because Clark's like, I need something. I got to fight this guy. This is getting in the way. Unfortunately, I got on that Kryptonian Ozempic, right? I'm just fucking wasting away over here. I don't know. I mean, like, the suit had a bad fit. There are several scenes with David Corn Sweat where he's moving and you see like the collar of the suit, like ruffle up and not like kind of hold firm to like what is meant to be an Adonis. So that's like, but let me just point this out. That is extremely nitpicky. You know what I mean? Like to me, it's nitpicky. I've noticed it, but it doesn't impact my thoughts or feelings on the movie at all. Let's see. Oh yes, Papa Kent talking about letting kids drown. Here's the thing with that. Parallax, I got to ask you, and I'm legitimately, I don't know the answer to this, but I'm assuming you're like what, 23, somewhere in there, right? You're 20. I think you're in your early 20s, right? So you don't have kids. And it's not about letting other kids drown. It's about protecting your own kid in the process. And that becomes the ultimate conversation that parents have to have. Okay? That becomes a very big conversation that parents have to have. Parents, the idea there, the question that becomes, when Clark saves those kids and his dad is worried about his son. And what I love about that scene is when he goes like, well, should I have let them drown? And he's like, maybe. I don't know. That wasn't a directive to let the children drown. That wasn't a calling for him to go back and murk all of those kids so they don't see what he can do. That was a father that was afraid for his son. That was a father that was afraid that people would see how special his son is, and then they would come and they would take him away. That was a father who didn't know what to do in that situation, but was being honest about his emotions. And what I love about the Snyder movies is that there's so much honesty and raw emotion that happens with these characters, but because it's done in a way that deconstructs what came before, there are so many comic book fans out there that are just like, they put their heads in the sand and they become ostriches, right? They become an ostrich, and they can't contend or comprehend what they're seeing. They don't get it. So they begin to reject it because they don't like seeing a deconstruction, right? They want, see, this is the thing with Superman. And it's any superhero. I'm just harping on Superman, but it's really any superhero. Like Superman, by and large, is tonally different than where he was from his creation, right? Like the guys who created him, if they were alive today, they'd be like, what the fuck is this? This isn't what we wanted. This isn't what we created. All right. I mean, like, yeah, sure. Like the idea is there, like he's helping out the little guy, but he beat the shit up out. He beat up fucking slumlords, man. He beat up petty crooks, right? He was a ground level, street level superhero. That's what he was. Okay. And so because of that, he then gets changed and shifted through over the decades to become this like paragon of virtue. Fine, but there's no wiggle room. And that's the thing, right? The core aspect of the character can never be challenged. But in the sake of what Snyder was doing, they were building to that core ethos. They were taking him on the journey to get there. It wasn't something he was just born with. I mean, it ultimately was, but it was something that through trials and tribulations and living life and learning to understand and value the fragility of humanity, that he came to more or less on his own. That he rose to the challenge, not because it was something that was simply thrust upon him, but it was because it was something that he wanted to do, that he chose to do. And I think therein lies a lot of the issue. is that a lot of people just don't like that deconstruction. And you know what? Here's the thing. That's fine. All right. That's fucking fine. I put out a video on the old channel back in May or June, early June 2013, before Man of Steel came up, calling Superman the most boring character in comics. And I say that because for one, I've always felt it's true. I even find it true now. I think out of all the characters that exist in comic book, he's the one I don't want to read, like, ever. I am so bored by the character. I'll watch him in movies because it's only every couple years, but that's really about it. Because here's the thing: when it comes to the character, I don't have to worry about anything with that character at all, period. You know, especially under James Gunn, who won't challenge him in a way that I think Zack Snyder would challenge the mythos of Superman and deconstruct it to the point of where it becomes something that, like, they learn through the journey. I think James Gunn just kind of goes, here he is. And that's it. Well, here he is. And that, now we'll build the framework around what that is. And I'm not the biggest fan of that necessarily, but it does become a problem when you've got these characters, right? You got these IPs that have been around for as long as they have. And as a result of that, you have these characters that have gotten so many different runs and so many different, interpretations that it does poison the well. And then when you have a new interpretation, you have to almost go back and show us what happened before, right? You have to almost go back and show us what happened with the origin of that character almost every single time. It's like, because it's like, look at the, was it Red Sun Superman, right? What's the catch there? Well, so instead of him coming to Kansas, motherfucker goes to Russia instead and ends up being found over there. Interesting premise, but again, pretty safe, pretty, standard, pretty straightforward, right? It's just going like, let's just take him out of this situation and put him in this situation. Okay. Right? Cool storyline, but just okay. Anything with like Batman when he leaves Gotham, right? Batman and the Ninja Turtles, kind of a fun concept, right? Fun movie. But it is not something that I would ever truly engage with on a character level because it means nothing to the overall, to the overall aspect of the character. And this is, again, what is effectively going to kill a lot of these movies is going to be when the reboots start happening more and more and more and more and more. Or they just decide to get rid of all continuity and not actually create an overall arc and just decide to do one-offs. And I do think the one-off aspect is happening. And I think that's going to happen with Netflix, to be honest with you. So let me explain. The reason why I think this is going to happen with Netflix is because the way that Netflix does their business. Okay. And they're not going to give, in the beginning, Superman, DC in general is going to have a lot of, there's going to be a lot of leeway with it, right? We now own all these movies, all these shows, all these properties are over here. And then they're going to maybe let James Gunn do a little bit, a couple years, right? Maybe he'll be out by 2029. Having spent 6 years running the studio, hopefully setting it up, getting through that first chapter in order to kind of, continue things going. But that's also then going to run afoul of the powers that be at Netflix because they're going to want to make sure that James Gunn is now making content that is for second screen. Okay. Now remember, James, you got to have a big set piece in the opening. It's got to be a hook for people watching on their phones, and you got to reiterate the dialogue every 20 minutes or whatever, so people know what the hell's going on. And again, if you don't believe me on that one, they do that as confirmed by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and then go watch Frankenstein. And, go look at Frankenstein and you'll see whole cloth how much Guillermo del Toro sold out to Netflix in order to get the money to do that. Anyway, my whole point is I wish these characters well. I will watch what comes out, obviously. But I will always, I mean, as a person who is not a comic reader nor a manga reader, I would push people towards manga if they were asking my opinion. Right? I would absolutely push them away from comic books. Because it is like in many ways like movie theaters, it is a very much a dying medium. And again, it's a slow decline with shifting, interests and shifting, consumers and their habits. The internet wants every superhero's origin skipped. I mean, doing it once is one thing. So, Matt, don't listen to these goofballs. My comic book collection dwarfs theirs, and I love Man of Steel. I'm just going to say this because I've kind of been looking at you guys going back and forth in the chat. I don't care. I'm glad you have one. Like, I don't care. Like it wouldn't impress me in the way that you want. Is Parallax and not my Superman guy? I don't know. I don't know. So, yes, hold on. Yes, let's work towards being a good person instead of being one from the beginning. Do you not know what a character journey is? Do you not know what a hero's journey is? Do you not know? Again, have you ever hurt anybody, Parallax? I mean, this is an honest question, which I'll use as an example. Okay. Okay. Well, actually, no. Let me frame it to you like this. Do you think you are a good person? And I'm sure you do. And I'm not saying you're not. But if I were to ask you, do you think you're a good person? And you were to say yes. And then I think ultimately I'd be like, well, what made you a good person? What brought you to that point? And then you would say, well, I maybe I look out for others, or I protect people, or I do this or do the other. Okay, cool. And so you want me to just take you at your word that you've never learned from your mistakes, that you've never grown as a person, as a human, as an entity, and that you just have always been this way, right? And then you might go, well, yeah, because I've always been this way. Okay. And then I could go, well, have you ever hurt anybody? And then you'll be like, well, yeah, I have. All right. And then the question becomes, have you ever hurt anybody intentionally? And then you probably be like, well, maybe in your mind you're trying to justify, right? You're trying to justify it. And then you're like, well, I mean, yeah, but I had a reason to. Okay. So you had a reason in your mind that was justified in hurting somebody else, but yet you still believe you're a good person because you believe you were justified to cause pain to that other person. See what I'm saying here? So the way it looks is that you are lionizing yourself as being a good person from the get-go, but then by your own admission, you have harmed people intentionally. Right? Have you ever lied to somebody? White lie, big lie, whatever. We all have, Have you ever promised somebody something that you didn't deliver on? You made a commitment and then you just bailed on it. And I'm sure the answer to that is yes. Right. Again, whether it was justified or it was unintentional, I don't know. But by asking you those questions, by going down that path, we can see where your character grows from. We can see where you've come from, what has changed, what has altered. That's just called character development, sweetheart. Just always being a good person isn't character development. Always being a good person is more or less writing a Mary Sue. There's no character development in that. Because not everybody is perfect. Not everything you do is never going to impact anyone negatively, whether it is directly or indirectly. Every time you take a step, every time you do anything, you ultimately alter the ripple of your life and somebody else's. Most of the time, the vast majority of the time, it is meaningless. but it can still have an impact down the road. And again, some of that might be deliberate, some of that might not be deliberate, right? Like, let's say, you build up somebody's belief in you, or you build up somebody's affection for you, and then you pull that away, right? And it becomes confusing because you're like, ooh, well, that's not who I am, but they don't know that. You know what I'm saying? So you've got these situations that show us specifically where your character goes and the journey that character goes on. So that's what I'm talking about in regards to being, someone who just shows up as being perfect versus somebody who tries to be, or who shows us that they're growing, that they've made mistakes. So, all right, I'm just pointing off. I'm just pointing out that it's like, look, man, I have caused people pain. I'll tell you guys something that I did, and I've always felt kind of bad about it, right? But I felt justified in the moment. There was this is 25 years ago now. 24 years ago last month. Okay. My buddy and I had just got out of watching The Fellowship of the Ring. We were at the mall. We went over to Sam Goody to see my buddy who worked with me at the drive-in, who was working there as well. He wasn't there, but there was a girl there that knew him, and my friend and her hooked up. And, and then it got kind of crazy, right? They had a whirlwind romance sort of thing. But she was really heavily into like hardcore drugs and shit, right? Just doing all this fucking shit, drinking fucking whatever, right? And so I had decided, one night I decided to fuck with her a little bit. I was like 19. It was a really dumb thing of me to do. But I told her that my buddy had an STD and that she needs to go get checked out, and she freaking freaked, right? She like went and got checked out. But then the thing was with that, and it was like, it was mean to do, but the impact of that was that it got her to stop doing drugs, stop drinking, and honestly to stop fucking every guy that came around. And she actually ended up meeting somebody, settling down and having kids. Now her life drastically changed as a result of me being a dick, right? I wanted to, like scare the shit out of her. And the consequences of that were greater than I could have ever possibly fucking imagined for her. But at the same time, it also scared the shit out of her. And it made her feel bad. And that didn't make me a good person. You know what I'm saying? So it is that situation where it's like, again, that happened all these years ago. And being given an opportunity to apologize allows for character growth to happen. See what I'm saying? Yeah, not cool. Not cool. Exactly. Not cool. I was dumb as fuck. How long ago was this? This is over 24 years ago. Moral of the story is being a dick pays off. Dude, oh my God. Where were you last night, Spherical Man? The brand man showed up. No, the moral of the story is it's like, I don't have, you don't have that authority to do that to somebody else is kind of the thing. That's what I'm getting at. It's not a good thing that I've done that makes me look any good. It doesn't. I was an asshole, but again, that's what I'm talking about here. Matt keeps breaking the bro code. No, there wasn't at that point, there wasn't really a bro involved. It was whatever. All right there. Hold on. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. HBart's throwing some shade. All right. So Parallax doesn't have the brain, his words, by the way, his words, to understand Man of Steel. People like him are the reason why DC was in limbo for so long. I don't necessarily believe that's fair. I think people like, again, the concept of what Man of Steel was going for was like that scene in Back to the Future where he plays, Johnny Be Good. And he's like, well, trust me, your kids are going to love it. It was just a little bit too early for its time, to be fair. I think because if you go and you look at 4 years before that, Zack Snyder did Watchmen. And Watchmen, by all accounts, is a fantastic comic book adaptation. I'm not saying that it followed the story 100% because it sure as shit didn't. But as for what it was very well received. And it's one that's still kind of held on a pedestal. But they did do some deconstruction of those core characters and more of kind of a dark, gritty, you could even make the argument Dark Knight style vibe at the time, right? That more grounded reality or realistic take. And then they go and they do that with Man of Steel. And we get a beautiful film with a great soundtrack, great cinematography, great performances, and it's a great movie. I fucking went and saw that shit on my days off of work at the drive-in. I came back twice to go see it on my days off of work. I could go watch it there for free anytime I want while I'm working. And I went on my nights off to go back to go watch it. That's how good that movie was. And I was a fucking hater, And again, same with this new Superman. I think it's good, but this new Superman I like the new Superman, but this new Superman is a person who is trying to cover up for their shortcomings rather than trying to learn from them. And I think that's the key takeaway here. David Corenswet's version of Superman is a person who tries because he does believe that he can do good, but he is doing it in many ways because he feels that it is something that is his duty to do. Because if you think about what his parents told him, okay, his parents never gave him a choice. He was indoctrinated by his parents' message when they were younger, go be the light, be the beacon. And it was something that he got from when he was way younger. And that's the most important thing in his life is what his parents who were dead told him. And then he finds out that everything that they said was basically a lie, but it doesn't change his core ethos. And the idea behind that is because of Pa and Ma Kent, right? But again, it's also we didn't see anything with them in raising him that would make him become that particular man. It almost was like they just raised him. They gave him a home, which was good, but he never gave a shit what they really had to say. He really only cared about what his parents had to say. And Ma and Pa Kent were his real mommy and daddy. Okay. And there's that line from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, where right before Yondu dies, where he goes I may not be your father, but I'm your daddy, and obviously it's about found family and step parents and everything else. And that is something close to James Gunn, right? That is something close to James Gunn. The thing that I didn't like about that is Gunn has always been very pro father. He's always been very much, Guardians 2 was a love letter to stepfathers everywhere and just more or less dads everywhere, right? May not be dads, but, fathers, but dads or dad figures, whatever. And then we get Superman, which is meant to kind of tie into that same similar themes. And instead we get one scene with Ma and Pa Kent, and they are portrayed as the bumbling country bumpkin type people, which is fine, whatever. But again, nothing about the way that they raised him was on display until the very end of the movie. But even that in and of itself, I don't feel was necessarily earned. That wasn't a but therefore, a but this happened, therefore that happened. This was an and then that happened sort of thing. It was punching. It was tapping it into the end of the movie in order to play, whatever song that was, right? And I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am. Right. That's all it was. He just wanted to find a way to tie that song in. And it was a nice, sweet moment. Don't make any mistake about it. But what we had seen thematically up to that point it made no sense in the context of the film. Now, if that scene would have been at the very end of, let's say, Man of Steel, then that would have been an earned scene for Man of Steel, because we saw the upbringing of Clark and we saw what his parents did and how his dad sacrificed himself to protect his son. And again, the people who do not have children are largely the ones that go after that scene the most, right? Could Clark have saved, his dad? Yes. But would it have exposed Clark to the world? Yes. Was that the one thing Jonathan Kent was afraid of? Yes. Which is why the whole kid drowning scene was a core concept of that particular upbringing montage. Thematically, it has a circle through line through it, but people don't want to engage with it. And I don't know why. I don't get it. It's a good through line. It's a good story that you're being told, but for some fucking reason, he fucking could have saved him. Yeah, Jonathan Kent dying in Superman 78 of a heart attack was the one thing Clark couldn't do. That's harrowing. All right. But having your dad sacrifice himself in order to protect you from the world at large, that, he was afraid. And that's one thing parents are for their children, are afraid. And they want their children to be better versions of them. And they want their children to be thinkers. And they want their children to be seekers and adventurers and doers. But there's always going to be that core aspect of being a parent, which boils down to protection. Right? Like, that's the whole part of Man of Steel when they're in the barn and they find the crystal, and about you can find out who your parents are. And he's like, you'll still be my dad, right? Like, yeah, of course. Like, that's what Snyder was getting at. That is what he was putting forward. And there's just all of these, I don't want to be mean to people about that, but it's like, do you not understand? Do I need to spoon feed it to you like we're watching a Netflix movie that Guillermo del Toro made? Like what the fuck? This is where I say media literacy is largely dead, because this shit ends up getting so twisted in the conversation. Well, Superman would never kill. He made a choice to protect humanity over someone trying to murder people. Well, Superman would have put him in the Phantom Zone. He would have done something. He couldn't have. They were equally matched. And he did the one move that Zod wouldn't Zod wouldn't expect. And Zod pushed him to that moment, knowing Clark, knowing Kal-El would not have done it. He pushed him to make that ultimate choice. So it's either let people die or do what you have to do to stop him. And again, that's lost on people. But then the concept of, the Jesus deity, right, that we've gotten ever since 1978, that was heavily implied in Batman v Superman. And you can tell Clark didn't like it, but he also didn't really know what else to do. There's a great scene in BVS when he is unsure about things and he just calls his mom. And I'm sorry, that scene where Clark calls his mom in BVS is far more impactful than anything we got in Superman, because it was an earned moment. We had seen the upbringing. We had had those moments with Ma and Pa Kent. We had had all of those things leading up to that moment where you've got an alien, this omnipotent being, so to speak, this indestructible entity that is there that's meant to be for our benefit, for our safety, for our protection. And he's like, I don't understand why they don't like me. Which is a question children have asked their parents since the beginning of time. But yet that is mocked and that is belittled and that is dismissed and diminished and kicked aside. Why? Oh, because why would he call his mom? But he go home and talk to his dad. It's all a bunch of fucking fanboy bullshit. And this is honest to God, why so many of you out there don't deserve the stories you're told half the fucking time. Not you guys here, you're fucking dope. But I mean, some people just don't get it. And they never will. And you could sit there and write a doctorate thesis, have it performed by Miss Rachel, so it is aimed at the intelligence level of a toddler, spelled out entirely, and they would still look at you with that blank, vacant stare in their eyes of, I just don't get it. I really need to stop talking about these fucking characters. I swear. I get so mad when I talk about them. Because I'm like, did we all watch the same fucking movie? Did we all watch the same fucking movie? Like, yeah, is it perfect? No, but is it like, can you look past like the nonsense, your nonsense, and look at it and go like, oh yeah, they were attempting to say something there. Holy shit. They were actually trying to say something that was interesting, that was modernizing the concept of being a parent. What would you do if you knew that your child was indestructible? That your child could jump tall buildings, could run fast, could stop bullets, could stop anything, was impenetrable, impervious to damage. And it was foreign, and it was weird, and it was different. And you were afraid what would happen if that came out. Who would come for you? How often would they come for you? How often would they come for your kid? What would they try to take from you? What would they try to take from him or her? And then as a parent, you look at that and you go like, what wouldn't you do to save your child? You know, we all love the movie Taken when fucking Liam Neeson goes fucking hog wild on those sex traffickers, right? Because they took his kid. But everyone fucking loses their shit over fucking Kevin Costner telling his son, his only son who he wants to protect, to not expose himself yet because the world isn't ready. So he makes that sacrifice in that moment to protect his family, to protect his son, to do that for his child. But oh no, it's just a fucking stupid scene. I'm sorry, a lot of people are just fucking like just literary retarded. They're just dumb. They don't get it. They don't want to get it. It's not even, it's not even, I don't call them dumb or retarded. It's not that. They don't want to get it. They don't want to. It's that they don't want to. Because it requires effort and it requires work and it requires you to actually pay attention. And I'm going to go off on this rant and then we'll move on. But let me just say here, the reason why it's like that when it comes to this superhero characters, this fucking character in general. Okay, like Batman is pretty easy to deconstruct, right? Parents were murdered, becomes a vigilante, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Right? All that shit. But with this character, and this is what I always hear is, well, in the comics, he isn't like that. And then I'm like, well, which run? Right? You want me to put the homework in to look at this character through a very, very minuscule, tiny lens that cannot be altered, cannot be shifted, cannot be changed, cannot be viewed through anything else other than this strict, rigid approach. And you wonder why I call it boring. That's what I don't like. And I've never liked that, ever. This is why I say, and even though I like the movies, okay, but this is why I say that when it comes to everything involving DC and these top tier characters, Superman, in essence, is best served as a supporting character rather than a main star, because his power level is maxed. His ethos is already defined. His motivations are already set in stone. Nothing about it changes. Well, his love of humanity. Well, his love of humanity ain't going to change either. And there's always going to be situations where he can rush on in and save the day. But not a good story does that make. And you are telling relatable stories to people for them to fall in love with, to strive to be better. If you go in again with that idea that you are always born good, or you were born good and you never faltered at all in your life, that is boring and that is a lie. And you sell a lie, you sell a falsehood to people over who you are. You establish yourself to be on this pedestal rather than to let the character actually be the character. And so when we finally get a movie that deconstructs this character in a way that is more relatable, more grounded, people lose their shit because they don't want to take the time to engage with it. And that, my friends, is quite frankly the reason why there's a cult that gets associated with this kind of shit. Because you have people that, when presented with counter evidence, choose to shut down, crawl up in the fetal position, rock back and forth, and just plug their ears, close their eyes, and just wait for it all to pass. so they can go back into the little sanctuary where nothing changes, nothing alters, nothing advances, nothing moves, and they can live there in blissful ignorance. Anyway, thank you for the super chat. A couple more here. Okay. I just went on this 20-minute rant about that. Anyway, Snyder literally said Cavill was going to be Boy Scout Superman at the end, but he had to work towards it. Exactly. There's that too. They were going to get him to that point, but it's a journey to get there. And again, God forbid, we spend 80, 90, 100 hours in video games literally going through like the same shit, but in a Superman movie, you can't do it. Also, I know you were talking about Parallax hurting me. I'm not, hey man, I wasn't coming out and saying that shit. I'm not going to give deets. I wasn't coming. I was just merely trying to point out an example of storytelling and using it as a relatable subject matter that I've heard about. That's all it was. But thank you. Rationally for 5, thank you, buddy. Says, what about people wanting Batman to have a no-kill rule? It just doesn't work sometimes. Would Batman not kill Darkseid given the chance? I think Batman's no-kill rule is also dumb, because I think it's also very short-sighted. And the reason why I say that it's short-sighted is I'm not saying you should always kill these guys. I think rehabilitation is the key. Okay. But the biggest problem with the vigilantes, and the reason why I say that ultimately, even with Superman, all roads lead to authoritarianism, is because you have this concept of this very fake concept of goodness prevailing, right? Like if I beat your ass enough and I put you in jail, you're going to see the error of your ways, and you're not going to come on out and then fucking go and get back into crime. You're going to be scared straight. Sure, you might have a broken clavicle, a damaged hip bone, a busted femur, and a lot of internal bleeding because I dropped you off a roof into a dumpster, but you're alive. And you're going to learn now through that to be able to go and live your life. Never mind the core concept here, and this is what they kind of made fun of in The Flash, was the whole thing about, well, maybe if I gave all my money to these programs to better offset poverty, we wouldn't have crime, which is usually a direct relation to poverty. And lower income and lower class people living in situations that are kind of push them towards that predicament. That's what I'm talking about. Right. So Batman, I think, has killed many people. A lot of involuntary manslaughter charges could be levied against him. And again, I think that oftentimes gets overlooked as well. It's just like, no, Batman's going to go beat the shit out of these people. Yeah, but they're not superhuman. Even he's not superhuman, but he's like the pinnacle of fucking strength and speed as far as humans go that aren't super fucking talented, aren't metahumans, right? Aren't enhanced, whatever you want to use. But he still fucking causes all of that damage. And so, yeah, I think, again, go back and look at the fucking warehouse scene in BVS. Awesome scene. He fucked those guys up. And you know what? They kind of deserved it. A couple of them killed themselves accidentally, to be fair, And I feel like that's more of an accurate representation of the character. I think Big Daddy in Kick-Ass from 2010 was very much what a real-life interpretation of Batman would be. A crazy guy who goes out there dressed as like a bat and just starts, hunting people, like criminals down, and then taking them out. Because unless you're going to invest in the systemic change that society needs in order to be able to do what needs to be done to fix everything, then you're going to continuously have this problem, which, okay, hold on real quick. Let me then take that back to the Superman authoritarianism argument that I make. So Superman comes out, think about, what was it? Was it Injustice, right? The one, right? Injustice Superman, where Lois dies and therefore he becomes authoritarian. That's kind of my whole point is that is something that would happen to Superman irregardless of whatever storyline. Someone he cares about dies. After a while, he can't stop these villains. The problems aren't changing. The society isn't changing, even though he's there as a deterrent. They're still not being better. Wealth inequality is still a thing. Kids are living in food deserts, in urban environments. They're not able to get positive, good healthcare, good education. Crime rates skyrocket. You know what I mean? Fentanyl comes into these cities. All of these things that Superman could effectively stop, you know, if he wanted to, doesn't. And then because he can't be everywhere at once. And then he finally just goes, fuck it. And I'm going to make, you know, I'm just going to now put the kibosh on everybody and I will rule through fear. Because at the end of the day, that is going to be the only way things actually change. And that's what I'm talking about. That's why with these characters, it, no matter what, will always end in authoritarianism. It will always end in authoritarianism. And so, you know, it's like, these are like the new, what do I want to say? Like, you know, Greek gods, Roman gods, right? The modern mythological figures. You know, I could just imagine Catholics like praying to Saint Iron Man. They're gullible. Anyway, but that's a lot of it is just, it's just this idea of like, you know, well, maybe they can make things better, but the way you make things better is you make things better. Society has to make things better. Steps have to be made in order to make things better for people. And so with these characters, always fighting the same bad guys, always fighting the same similar problems week in, week out, it shows you that the system that they are a part of doesn't actually get fixed. That what they do doesn't actually change anything. And if what you're doing as a vigilante is not at the end of the day changing anything, then you're a sociopath. You're a sociopath. And if you have the ability to make those changes and you don't exert those changes, well, then you really are a hypocrite. And so the concept of these superpowered beings has largely become one, in my view, again, I know I sound cynical, but my cynicism is backed by human behavior. And I think people, in the reality of it is, people like superheroes because I think it absolves them of any personal responsibility. You like someone like Superman, not because you're inspired by Superman, but because it absolves you of responsibility of being like Superman, of doing the right thing. And that's a lot of what it boils down to. And I think that that's a big problem. Anyway, I am all over the place here. All right, H-Bars, thank you. Oh, no, we talked about that one there. Okay. This is for 5. Thank you. Says Superman in the comics did kill Zod, killed him with kryptonite. Well, there we go. He's a merkin-ass motherfucker. There we go. Also, I'm mad at Chris the Bipolar Jedi. He told me he was going to be home tonight. He's not home. What a bitch. All right, let me take a look here at the chat. Let's see here. There are character moments for DC, for characters of DC. You have to find the comics. Yeah, that's right. Christopher Reeve, Superman, did kill Zod in Superman 2. That's very true. He did not, you know. I mean, well, put him in the what is it, in the Phantom Zone and shit, right? But no, didn't he like crushed his hand and everything else? Like he hurt him or whatever. Again, it just depends on who's controlling the narrative. Who controls the pen controls the story. And you know, I just feel like the way people approach comic book characters are the way that religious folk approach fucking, you know, like saints and shit. Like you just can't, like you can't criticize, you know, you're just like, no, that's not what they would do. He did kill Zod in Superman 2 and nobody wants to talk about it. Yeah, there we go. All right, Zap here says, as someone who loved Man of Steel when it came out and cheerleaded the DCEU for most of its existence, I confidently say Superman is the better movie. Man of Steel has plenty to like about it, but it fell short in other ways. That's fine, dude. I also enjoyed Superman 2025. I prefer Man of Steel, but I also enjoyed Superman 2025. I think David Corenswet was a fine actor. I liked Rachel Brosnahan. I liked Nicholas Hoult. You know, I liked the vibe that they were going for. I enjoyed my time with the movie. But if you were to put one or the other in front of me and be like, pick your poison for the night, Bitch, I'm going for Man of Steel. Superman also messed up that guy in the diner. Pretty petty to go back and beat him up as a human. Well, I mean, people got mad. It's so funny. People got really mad at the play on that with Man of Steel when you had that one trucker who was harassing the woman, and then Superman like rearranges the truck on the fucking telephone pole and shit. So you know, like people just they pick and choose, man. They pick and fucking choose. Hold on. What was it? Wait, hold on. Matt, would you read my comment about ice? I got to go find it. Let's see here. Yeah, Keaton's Batman killed the fat clown of Batman Returns. Keaton's Batman also dropped bombs out of the Batmobile in the Acme factory in Batman, killing at least 9 guards. You know, so there was quite a bit there. That's why I don't sucked into the Superman hate. I'll never change your opinion, so it's just useless to try. I'm still going to get you to watch Avatar, bitch. I bully people over that now, I guess. What's the comment on that one there? Yeah, you're right, Sean. Chris Terrio and David S. Goyer wrote BVS. Goyer wrote Man of Steel. Terrio did Justice League. It's wild to me that that Tail Gunners think Zack Snyder was the writer of the films. It's, you know, again, it's kind of like that. You know how it is, man. If your name's on it, you get attached to it anyway, right? Like Christina Hodson with Birds of Prey and with fucking, you know, like Bumblebee and fucking Flash and shit, right? Like, you know that there were alterations made to the script. We just don't know what they were, but her name is the one that's attached. Movies are subjective. I do agree with you, David. Open for interpretation, unless it's Netflix's Frankenstein. Then it got fed to you, spoon-fed to you. Let's see. What is it? What's your comment on Ice? I don't see it. Yeah, just not like comic books. Well, shouldn't some of our systems go away because they don't do anything? Is this what you're talking about with Ice? I mean, yeah, some of our systems, we need to like rework our systems 100%. All right. Like, we need to rework our systems, and have them be more available to people, and, you know, and we need to like, we need the rigidity of our legal system is a bitch at times. Okay, let's see here. But James Gunn actually wrote Superman's weakness in a fight, getting kicked in the sack. So stupid. You know, well, yeah, but it's also, I mean, I personally, I do view that as a bit of a nitpick, because it's like, it's a universal ouchie moment. You know what I mean? It's a universal ouchie thing. Guy getting kicked in the nuts. You're like, ooh, you can feel it, right? And so I think that's a lot of what it was, just as a visual representation of like, he is actually experiencing pain. It's childish, sure, juvenile, sure, you know, but it is very much like that. Yeah, Battinson was in the Batmobile singing "Citizens in the Way." I mean, yeah. Well, again, it was like he was being careless in that scene. But how many times has Batman, in all of his craziness, fucking murked people? It happens. Superman there's no way Superman hasn't killed somebody. You know, like, through everything else that's happened in regards to this stuff, you know? So, but here, I want to share this clip, into what Sean was saying. I am nitpicky. What can I say? Motherfucker. I have not bothered. And I'm telling, this isn't me being a bully. This is just me, like, kind of like, whatever. You've got that fucking 29-minute, like, Beggar's Canyon video, and I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Because I know that I would get mad. I think I would get mad. I know where you're coming from, but I think I would get mad. So I can honestly say that. But I watch a lot of your other stuff. All right, I don't know why I thought about this. This is how Sean O'Rourke envisions the groin kick scene in Superman 2025.
Sean's Mole Man Productions presents Man Getting Hit by Football.
This contest is over. Give that man the $10,000.
This isn't America's Funniest Home Videos.
But the ball is groin. It works at so many levels. Roll it again.
You know what? You know what the sad thing about, I don't know what the fuck is mixing liquid shit. The sad thing about that clip, the sad thing about that clip is the fact that Jay Sherman is there, and we cannot get a follow-up to the critic, man. I like, look, if any show was gonna come back, Al My Balls is better. God, you fucking zoomer. You weren't even alive when that clip came out. I don't even think you know what that clip is. It does work on so many levels. That's true. You're everybody else besides Homer. I think I'm Homer in that moment, probably. Categorically, I would probably argue that I'm Homer in that. It is fucking. I miss the critic, man. I miss the critic. It stinks. Oh my God, that was such a good show. Parallax is ranting about Cavill. Where? I don't see it. Did he get timed out? Why am I not seeing Parallax? Did he leave? Oh, Keaton lit a guy on fire. There we go. Yeah, he did. People die in those movies, man. It's crazy. Okay, you posted it in the Discord. All right, I gotta bring it up. Pulled up my beggars can. I don't want to spend. You dare me? Fine. Fine. You're lucky I like you, Sean. You're lucky that I like you. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Okay. How was the rip? I need to watch it, by the way. I need to watch it. Okay, hold on. Oh, here we go. All right. This is Sean going over Beggar's Canyon. I like Beggar's Canyon. What the fuck is going on? God. YouTube has been very frustrating recently. Although now my face is blocking his. So we're gonna tweak that a little bit there. Okay. Theater mode. That should be a little bit better. There we go. Okay. So this is Sean going off on Beggar's Canyon, which I know I'm a fan of, and I know that Rational's a fan of, and a lot of people seem to like it. But Sean's coming out to douse some of that fire with some cold ass water. So let's see.
Is a bunch of AI slop. Now I get the nostalgia bait and all that kind of stuff because people love, Luke Skywalker from The Empire Strikes Back. But, this kind of stuff, I get it. It's fan made. They're not making any money off of it. He's probably spending his own money to prompt and all that. But in the end, you got to have some quality control. Okay, the shots have to be consistent between shots. And there's so much wrong with this that let's just get into it.
I'm sorry, I have to kind of pause here. My favorite thing about that intro there was you're like, the shots have got to be consistent. And me, an avid AI video enthusiast, is like, yeah, you're never going to get consistency right now. But I mean, it's a lot closer than it was. And I think, and again, I'm just going to say this. There's an element here of kind of missing the forest through the trees, right? It's like this would work really well, not as a replacement, but as this is my vision for what I want to make. And I think you would even agree, even with the flaws. I think you'd even agree with that one there. But okay.
We're lucky Jawas don't like to read.
One of the best things about this is that all of the dialogue is off camera for the most part, because, they still, just like regular VFX, have a problem with the webbing in the mouth to make the mouth look right. That's why mouths never look right when it's a visual effects. They're getting there, but it's just not there yet. And, AI is not even close. So, a lot of the dialogue is off camera, but it has no emotion to it. It's all, we're lucky the Jawas don't like to read. It sounds like a robot Luke Skywalker. So, again, the AI is just not getting emotion. It doesn't know, how you're supposed to deliver that line.
Well, okay, so I'm going to push back on that for a second there. In this particular instance, yes, you're right. However, you get an actor and you get the actor to act out the dialogue, and you could at least get the range of emotion, even if it's off camera. It can still technically work. No. I'm not going to say you're not fair. I'm not going to say you're not fair. I think you're fair. I'm just getting to give you, it's because I think like, I'll just give you shit. I think it's really what it boils down to. But I would argue that like in this case, if you were to get, you can do speech to speech, with 11 Labs. So you can get an actor to come on in and really voice it and really give it the oomph, the chutzpah, you know what I mean, that it needs. And then you can then run that through the AI, and then the AI will then put it in a different voice, will clone it into a different voice with that performance. Yeah, I know it's probably meant to be a joke. I take this shit way too far. I'm so fucking like stupid autistic over this. So like humor will go over my head on these kind of things. And I can admit that though. All right, I'll keep going.
And if you say, hey, have Luke tell R2D2 this like if it's a joke, and then he might go, we're lucky that, you know, the Jawas don't know, blah, blah, blah. So like if you're not prompting this stuff to do the right thing or say the right thing, it's going to sound like a robot. And that's what it sounds like. Sounds like gameplay robot stuff. Does this stuff look great? Yeah, it looks great. But are there massive flaws? There's massive flaws.
It was a place where the most powerful...
Say, it was the mouth doesn't work, and then it cuts right to R2D2 for no real reason, because he's got to get the dialogue out, because again, it can't do it yet.
Kyber crystals were protected. Kyber crystals are what power lightsabers.
You don't think fucking R2D2 doesn't know that?
But like, okay, yeah, fine. It's spoon-fed dialogue for the audience there, okay? Like I said, it's like fucking Frankenstein and shit. But in this particular case, it makes sense for people who don't know that. R2 will know that, but R2 is also listening to Luke in this particular moment, and it's meant to mirror some of the stuff that we saw in A New Hope with, you know, R2's kind of like subtle reaction, like R2, you know, because there's been this inconsistency within the films about just what C-3PO and R2-D2 actually know. Okay, there has been, right? At the end of Revenge of the Sith, they give them both a memory wipe. At least they do with C-3PO. Okay, with R2, it's like he's either kept it to himself and he's been the one pulling the strings for the entire saga, which, listen, fuck yeah, if that's true. All right? My little droid friend being great. All right. No, he knows the score. He knows what's up, right? He's the power player. He's really Snoke. But I feel like, again, just for the sake of just trying to have the exposition in the story, they're focusing more on the atmosphere of the image here, of the response from the other person in the room who is listening to the story. And it's less of an emphasis on trying to make sure that the voice is correct and like lined up with the actor or the character than anything else. And so that's my pushback on that.
See, again, this is where when you're doing fan-made stuff, the dialogue matters. And the problem is, this is what Hollywood's been doing recently, is spoon-feeding exposition to people.
Well, there you go. We agree.
And that's bad writing. So the creator of this is not a good writer. I'm sorry. So when I'm watching this, I'm going, oh, this is stupid. No offense to him. He's got to learn how to write.
And they aren't easy to come by. This is a map right to one.
Oh, imagine that. Okay, so here we are at the mouth of Beggar's Canyon.
Wait. Hold on. I got to pause this. Because you skipped over what I think would have been probably the one thing you would have liked, is the transition. Yes, not the wipe. If it would have been a wipe transition, it would have definitely been in line with Star Wars. But the transition itself was very much in line with an Indiana Jones transition, which felt very Lucasfilm. That felt very Lucasfilm. I really like that transition. Yeah, it's a minimal thing for me. Again, I'm easily pleased. But still, It's like that. I really like that transition. I thought that really kind of set the tone for like this style of adventure, which feels more Indiana Jones than it does Star Wars, obviously, but still, I liked it.
Look at that. See this still image? One, R2-D2 is too large. Okay. R2-D2 is not that fucking big. Okay. That makes him almost the fucking size of Luke Skywalker. And people, for some reason, aren't fucking picking up on that. The other thing is, look, Luke has a satchel around him. You see that? Let me see if I can see this right here. There's a satchel around Luke. R2-D2's fucking ginormous, which is ridiculous. And he's got this satchel. Look at these. He's got shoes on that look gray, and they look more like ankle boots. Okay. So this is the first inconsistencies with this project. Okay. And it's literally this shot. So here we go. So now
I won't be long, I promise.
he goes under. And now we've got Luke walking this way. Where the fuck is the X-Wing? Where the hell's the X-Wing? I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Okay, I digress. Let's move on. Okay.
I mean, that's some nitpicky. I mean, it is nitpicky, right? It is. From a filmmaker perspective, where the fuck is the X-Wing? That's a valid question. Valid question. I ain't going to argue with you on that one. All right. But what gets me, and what I think you are overlooking, Sean, is that you are focusing more on the technical rather than the vibe. Okay. And maybe and you don't have to, by the way. This is just, the vibe for what it was going for, in my mind, I think supersedes the technical limitations and the errors, because I'm not looking at this through the lens of being like a professional thing. I'm looking at this for like where this journey is going to take me. Right. And in many ways I could, and this might even be coping. I'll fully acknowledge. All right. I know how limited AI is for video, but it's also like Luke could be kind of an unreliable narrator here. You know what I mean? It could be a multitude of different things.
Luke Skywalker, opening shot. Okay. We see that his belt is, it's got a lightsaber on it, but it looks like Yoda's lightsaber. It's like this fucking big. Okay. And then if you look at the holster, it's got a strap that goes around his thigh. And now he's got boots that come up halfway to his shins. Okay. So let's just pay attention to that right now, because this is the biggest gripes I have with this. But outside of the suit. All right. Like, you got to admit, the shot composition looks pretty good. The lighting looks pretty good. The vibe looks pretty good. It feels pretty good. Now, I agree that you're being fair. Those are all things to criticize. I'm not going to argue with you on that one. I agree with you. I think you're being fair. Yeah, there's clearly issues here. But like, where we were 2 years ago. I'm just saying, it's like, that was like, I think for me personally, I'm more interested in like, ooh, the technology is getting there. It's not there yet. God, no. All right. We won't be there for a while. And it does feel like things are kind of shifting in some ways, but still, I think it's like, it looks pretty all right. I mean, that right there, look, obviously, come on, that's like a different composition. That's clearly like a layer, right, from another program. It looks Phantom Menace levels of fake. Okay, so you look in this wide shot, there's no strap around the holster, thigh again. And, it's missing the lightsaber. There's no lightsaber there. It's missing details. Cuts back to this shot, which was the original shot that he generated.
Hey, listen, I know you're talking about the lighting. To be fair, sometimes in real productions, you can tell when there was a reshoot. I'm just saying. Hey, it's just saying. That is some loud sand. That is true. Spherical Man is correct about the loud sand.
Okay, where the fuck is Luke's lightsaber? Okay, where is Luke's lightsaber? Now he's got a strap on his leg that's 3 times as wide with a buckle in the center, where the last time it didn't have that. It had a single leather strap going around. So where the fuck did the lightsaber go? Now see, this is where I get into like quality control. If you generated this image and you saw that the lightsaber was missing, then you fucking regenerate it and put the lightsaber there and ask it to correct the strap on the leg. See, this is why you have quality control. When you're making this stuff, this is why it becomes slop, because it's sloppy, because you're just throwing prompts out there and then you're editing something together that is completely inconsistent with the continuity.
Okay,
Okay.
I agree.
So we get this classic shot right here, which is this right here, which is a promo still from The Empire Strikes Back. And there's a lot of these throughout this. Basically, there's an image that was a photograph taken in a promo. And what frustrates me about this is this image is a copywritten image right here. So, but I don't see anybody, in the credits giving Terry Costner or David James their props for making the still image. Again, that's the problem when you're stealing copywritten material and then you're uploading it into this shit. Yeah, this is what you get. So the reason we all connect with this shot and it's Luke Skywalker, it's because it was something we've already seen before, unoriginal.
I agree.
And we connect with it on a nostalgia level. But again, we could go back to that stolen image. Okay, because again, you got to feed the machine this, and that doesn't really look like Luke much there. It looks like him, but there's something off about it. Okay, but again, like you've got the strap on the thigh, the boots now come all the way up to the knees, which is like the original promo photo. Okay, so the boots come all the way up to the knees instead of going halfway, and then before it was just a set of shoes that the ankles were cut out of, ankle shoes, ankle boots. The strap is wrong, and here we are. This is the inconsistencies with this slop. Those birds don't look like the other fucking birds that we see, which are red and look like dinosaurs. These look totally different than the birds that are coming up in the...
John, buddy. There's more than just one species of bird. Just saying. There's more than one species of bird. All right. Anyway, we've done 8 minutes of this. I appreciate, I'm not going to go through the full 29 minutes of it. I will finish watching it later. I'll tell you that. I'm right. I am not saying, there's nothing about this that you could make the argument was like, that was clean without any kind of, pre-used copywritten material. Okay. But it's a fan film. I don't know if the guy's making any money off of it. I think he might be making money on Patreon, but fan films have been doing that for ages. You know what I mean? And no one ever gives credit there either. So I think it's kind of like, and that's a nitpick, but you're in the industry. So for you, it's a bit more of a thing. That I get. No, I did not see. Sean is trying to get hired by Lucasfilm. I think Sean would do well hired by Lucasfilm. I think I agree. I think Sean would go in there. Sean, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts? And I would actually like to have a full-on discussion with you about this sometime. Like, actually have a convo, not just like one-sided through chat. But like, what are your thoughts on the comment that Kathy Kennedy said about how nobody there's no interest in indie anymore? I don't believe that's true. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, okay. I know the shot of the gun you're talking about. Yeah, I know that was definitely off. But the vibes, Sean, the vibes. Okay, I'm gonna Gen Z this shit. The vibes. But no. I you and me will go back and forth. We always enjoy talking to one another, even when we disagree. But I just and I will go back. I will definitely watch all this myself. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll do the next shot thing. Okay. We'll do that. I'll give you that one.
Next shots. Once again, that doesn't look like Luke from a profile because we know that the AI has problems with the thing shifting. Look at here at the gun. What happened here? There's a hole in it. I don't know what's going on here with the trigger. This looks off. This doesn't look like Luke's profile. Again, people are going to say I'm being nitpicky. People are going to say, you know what, Sean? I saw someone comment when I first started in a post, digging on this. They said, well, Will Smith, just a couple of years ago was eating spaghetti and it looked horrible, and now it looks great, and this stuff will be great in a year or 2 years. It doesn't matter. If you are putting out something, you're getting hundreds of thousands of views, and it's slop. It's you gotta re-prompt that and say, the gun has a fucking hole in it. Why does my gun have a hole in it? I want the shot re-rendered again without the fucking hole. But the problem is, see, this particular Star Wars Lost Legends page, they've gotten greedy because everyone's on their shit now. They're trying to capitalize on the fame as much as they can. So they're starting to crank out stuff left and right. Unfortunately, they're cranking out shit. And if you're gonna be the next big thing in Star Wars fan films, you should fucking do your best. And this isn't your best. This is not your best. I'm sorry.
Well, this is also like, okay, they did one with the Ewok thing, which I didn't think was that good. But you've also got, like, again, it's the concept of, like, I think the reason why these videos are doing as well as they're doing is not that they're great, okay, but there's a vibe there. I keep using the word vibe. It's not even a term I necessarily enjoy overall, but I think fans have been so restricted by what Lucasfilm has put out, ignoring the prequel trilogy with the main heroes and the OT with the main heroes, that they want something. And I know that the EU exists, but the EU is old, and you're not going to get a bunch of old a bunch of young people, or even maybe boomers, whatever, or like, millennials or Gen Xers and shit, to go back and read that shit if they weren't already reading that shit when they were younger. But this is something, it's quick, it's 8 minutes, it's digestible. That is where I think the draw is. And that's why, and I don't know if you agree with me or not, they have content. You fuck. All right, that was good. That was solid, Sean. That was a solid joke. Absolutely. I have concepts of the plan. Oh my God. They have, yeah. That one caught me off guard. That was good. That was solid. Oh fuck, that was great. What was I gonna say? Fuck, I lost my goddamn train of thought, you asshole. Yeah, okay, let's get Sebastian Stan in there. 100% agree. 100% agree. All right. I thought they should have gone with that route over the deep faking stuff. I do. As much as I like the deep faking stuff, and I love the opening of Dial of Destiny, which used a lot of that as well, I still think having Sebastian Stan would have worked. So it's sorry, fucking concepts of Star Wars. Oh my God, I lost my train of thought, you dick. Oh man. We need actors to play those roles instead of deepfakes. I am not against it. I'm not against it, but we also have to then look at it through the lens. Right. This is what I wanted to say. I wanted to ask you your opinion on this, Sean. Do you think in any way any of these Star Wars AI channels could be in any way a plot from Lucasfilm, inside Lucasfilm or Disney or something like that, to build up this hype for the OT or the prequel trilogy? I know it's a take. Okay, I get that it's a take, but like I've been trying to look at it through the lens of like, yes, I agree with you about the greed. Okay, putting out like an 8-minute Star Wars story, every single day is hard to do, especially if you're using multiple iterations, multiple generations, multiple different storylines, multiple different characters. You got to figure it out. You got to prompt it. You got to re-roll it. You got to do all of these things. Then you got to edit it together. It's got to be edited in some way that's cohesive. And then you got to make sure that you're adding like, there's like voice acting with the AI, and you got to get that in there. I mean, this stuff takes time. If you go back to the old adage that it takes you about 1 hour to edit 1 minute of finished footage. If you're pumping out like 8 minutes of content every single day, that's 8 minutes to edit, but that's 8 hours to edit, but that's not even the generation process. Lucasfilm, yeah, no, like Lucasfilm won't come down in any of it because it is free promotion. Absolutely, yeah, I completely agree that it's free promotion. So it's a schizo conspiracy take. I don't agree. I don't disagree with you on that it's a bit of a schizo take. But something about this feels off to me. Something about this feels wildly off to me. There's something particular about this because even people like Star Wars Theory watches this shit all the time. You figure someone like Star Wars Theory, the #1 Star Wars channel on YouTube, who has the money to be able to invest into creating these kind of projects, right? Remember, he spent like $100,000 on his Vader fan film, which was actually quite good. And he would go in and he would work on these lore videos with AI, and he would build, because he's not against AI. So, and that can yield a great return on investment because he's got a 3 million sub channel and this motherfucker be making bank. You know what I'm saying? So it is that whole concept of like, if he's not behind it, then it's like someone somewhere is behind it. Someone somewhere is putting this out there, is funding this, is doing this. And that's where it's like, I don't really think that it's like one 15-year-old kid in his room. They would alienate the fans if they shut it down. Yeah, I agree. There would be a lot of alienation with the fan base. There would be a lot of alienation with even, I think, Star Wars just in general, because I mean, like, here's the thing. You may call it slop, and a lot of people do call it slop, but there is a lot of actual fans for it. And it has been more or less positively received by people. And I think therein lies the more interesting aspect of it, right? Where a lot of AI art is like attacked, but then someone comes out with these Star Wars bits, and they put them together, and then people watch them and they're like, fuck, I like that. That was pretty dope, right? Obviously it got flaws, but yeah, it was pretty dope overall. So then they get into it and they like it, and they start sharing it around, and therefore that grows, and that's getting, I think, probably a fair amount of the EU people involved. And those guys are desperate for anything because they felt completely fucked over, 14 years ago when they shut it down, I think it was in 2013, April, right around 13 years ago is when the EU was taken out back and executed like old Yeller. So I think those guys have been mad ever since then. And so now they're at a place where they can visualize this shit and it's given to them, even if it's spoon fed, and they like it. And I feel like that's maybe some research shit that Lucasfilm, because they know about this. They've got to be paying attention. It's not a coincidence that this dropped, then KK was dumped after. Well, Kathy leaving was always in the works, right? For a while. And she's leaving on her own terms and everything else. And, she's out now. This is Dave Filoni's first week and everything. And, I'm surprised there hasn't really been much out of that. There's been no real fanfare from what I've seen. Like, maybe this is her last week or whatever, or she'll be out now or whatever. I don't quite know. But it's definitely a thing where the new leadership is in charge, and they apparently aren't really making any big waves, which is fascinating. But they have to definitely know about this. 40 years of reality TV has dumbed down the audience to accept lower level productions. I'm not going to disagree. I mean, look at how much money Mr. Beast spends on his productions. Parallax here says he's only been getting slandered for not liking Andor, but there's been no evidence that he didn't like Andor. That was just something somebody put out, and I think there was a dispute on that particular point back there. Hold on here. Okay, sent me a 40K short. Okay, that we'll find that one. Can we watch that Star Wars AI video you DM'd? Yeah. Well, I have to use the restroom and I need to go get something to drink because I'm running out of drink here. So I will pop up that um I'll pop up that one you sent me and we'll go through that one real quick because it gives me time to kind of take a quick break. Okay. All right. By the way, here, this is interesting because tomorrow we get the first trailer, or the new trailer for the new Maul show. And it's kind of funny you showing Ray Park as Maul, considering he got into it again last night. Did you guys all hear about this? Did you guys hear about this? About fucking Ray Park once again posting revenge porn on his Insta? Right? It was a video of what appears to be it's alleged that it's his wife and she's in the shower and she's masturbating. I've only seen a screenshot floating around, but I didn't see the whole video and I'm glad I didn't want to. But that's, to me, kind of fascinating. So I will be right back.
Look what has become of you. A rat in the desert.
Look what I have risen above.
I have come to kill you, but perhaps it's worse to leave you here, festering in your squalor.
If you define yourself by your power to take life, a desire to dominate, to possess, then you have nothing.
Why come to this place? Not simply to hide. Oh, you have a purpose here. Perhaps you are protecting something? No. Protecting someone. Tell me, is it the chosen one?
He is.
He will avenge us.
You were my enemy, Maul. But more than that, you were a survivor. Twisted by Sidious, consumed by rage. Yet you endured. You shaped my path as much as any ally ever did. I will not remember you for your hatred, but for your strength. May the Force grant you the peace you never found in life. Hello there, Qui-Gon.
You ended it. After all these years.
Yes, After all his rage, all his schemes, in the end, he was just a broken man, clinging to vengeance.
Did you hate him?
Pity, perhaps, but no hatred, not anymore. Funny, isn't it? He caused me more pain than anyone, and yet, in his final moment, I almost felt sorry for him.
That's because you've learned what he never could. To let go.
Or perhaps I've just gone soft in my old age.
How is the boy doing?
He's a spirited one, even if he doesn't know it yet. Reminds me of Anakin, though less. Reckless. Let's hope he takes after his mother.
You've carried much, Obi-Wan. And yet here you are, older, perhaps wiser, and still making jokes.
What else is there to do, old friend? Brood forever? No, I think I'll keep my sense of humor.
You believe in him?
I do. More than he knows. He has his father's strength. But I pray not his father's weakness. Still, there are times I wonder if I should speak to him, train him, guide him.
The time will come, but not yet. The boy needs to live, to dream, to fail and get back up, without the weight of destiny crushing him before he's ready.
You always did have a talent for patience. I, on the other hand, spent years telling Anakin not to rush. All the while rushing myself.
And now look at you. A hermit, lecturing lizards. Quite the fall from General Kenobi.
Yes, well, I find lizards less argumentative than the Jedi Council.
When the time comes, Obi-Wan, Luke will need you. Not the warrior, not the general, but the man you've become. The one who knows loss and still chooses hope.
Hope, yes. That's what he gives me. When I see him, I don't see Anakin's fall. I see a chance to put it right.
And that, my old Padawan, is why you were always the right one to watch over him.
I mean, they definitely grabbed screen grabs from from the first movie and used that.
Rest well tonight, Luke. The galaxy may not know it yet, but you are its future.
Wait, is he showing how it was made? Oh, come on. You've got to be shitting me. Okay, so like again, like as we were talking about this kind of stuff a little bit ago, I think the idea here, if they call it live action, what? Oh my God. Tales from Star Wars Untold. Dude, they've jumped up a lot, man. They were at 180 some thousand subs last week, right? They've jumped up a lot. Look at this here though, right? Star Wars Stormtrooper POV at the Battle of Hoth, 500,000 views. Right? Star Wars A Tragic Life of General Grievous, over 600,000 views. You know, so it's like somebody here is 9 days ago, 3 days ago. Okay, so they're kind of slowing down a little bit, but they have like pumped out content, over the course of the last year. They put out a lot of videos, and that's getting them a lot of attention. And so yeah, I agree with Sean though. Is that they Jess? I talked about the trailer at the beginning of the episode. Yeah, you can scroll back and go find it. It was pretty good. Because again, like they use the music and they play on the feels and they do all that shit, and they make you feel a certain way, and is what they fucking do. One of the things I wanted to touch upon, I just kind of saw this from actually from yesterday. Check this out here, right? So we're talking again. We're on the subject of AI. Okay. You came back to say watch Fallout Season 2. I definitely want to, but did I miss a bunch of super chats? I guess. Okay, I'll get to that real quick. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. My bad, you guys. I got into it with Sean, but I like Sean. Okay. Let's see. Command Unit here for 5. Thank you. With many of the 40K book writers also writing for comics, including Marvel and DC, it's kind of funny to see how much they influence each other. Well, I mean, what do they say? Good artists copy, great artists steal, So there's a fair amount of that. There's a lot of inspiration across the board. I mean, definitely go and look at everything involving like the old Pulp Fiction writers. Like you'll see a lot of that. And so yeah, there's that stuff that's pretty good. Thank you for that one. And then also here, AI can simulate emotions and even understand appropriate emotions depending on the context, depending on the model. AI voice actors can be really good. Yeah, but there's a new model with what's it called? Fucking 11 Labs. Like their V3 model, and it's pretty decent. Not great. You have to really get in there and fine tune it for the emotion. But it's also really expensive. And that's where like it's possible that like somebody's funding all this shit. Someone is really funding all this shit. All right, you sent me a 40K short on Discord. Okay. What did you send? All right, hold on. What is this? Okay. All right, it's a Joy Toy Imperial Knight size comparison. Okay, what is this? And then I want to show you guys something. Okay, what is this here?
Questionable financial decision. Now, in my defense, I was sitting on a lot of coupons, and there was a really good Black Friday sale going on, so I didn't want to pass up the chance. So while I think I did a good job rationalizing the cost, I did not think about the size. He's a bit of a big boy, and that's only part of him.
Wow.
There are the legs. Oh yeah, that's a tall lad. The main cannon. In case anybody didn't know, one of my favorite sci-fi tropes is a big autocannon. Miniguns? Nah, not for me. Autocannons? Yeah. And would it really be Warhammer if we didn't have a chainsword? Vroom vroom. We have the pilot. I have to say this medieval Apollo mission look is really doing it for me. My goodness, this thing is the size of a child. This is actually my ideal mech right here. This, to me, is the coolest kind of mech you could have.
Wow.
And that's not even counting the heraldic devices, which are obviously appealing to me. But just the form factor and layout it's just the peak mech for me. Unfortunately, it's not just tall, it is wide too. So I'm going to be scratching my head as to where I'm actually going to put this thing. But am I going to treat it like a big baby in the meantime? Yes. Yes, I will. So I've made...
He seems so genuine. He seems so genuine. You got to love it, right? I love it there. He's like cradling the baby at the end. Like, am I going to cradle like a bagel baby? Yes, I am. If you look here, this video's got 2.2 million views. It's 2 months old. He has approximately made about $20 every, about $10 every 100,000 views. So he's made a couple $100 off of this short, which I don't know if that would cover the cost, but he's definitely made the money. Good for him. That was pretty cute. Gundam can take it. Mo. I don't know. George Soros is funding this. Yes, maybe. Can I get some of that Soros money then? Jesus. Let's see. In future or so, will people be able to use? Will people use AI to bring back canceled shows or to make fan fiction of popular stuff? Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Like already. Actually, that's one of the things we're going to look at right now. So one of the things that I saw today, actually, there's been a lot of conversation about Ben Affleck and AI over the course of this last weekend, and I need to do a short about that for TikTok to to anger the Luddites is what I do. Ben Affleck here says AI can't make a film that's considered art. All right, so this is an AI-generated short film of Harry Potter during the Vietnam War, riffing on Apocalypse Now. So, I haven't seen this, but it's from a guy named Demon Flying Fox, who's done some interesting shit that I have seen. So, again, it's all about the intent of the creator, right? That, of course, is where the art comes from. It's less about the output and more about the intent. And that's one of the things I really find to be the most funny about anti-AI art people is that they tend to overlook that argument in order to back up their own very limited scope of what exactly art is. And they do that because they are going through, as Ben Affleck said, an existential crisis about being replaced rather than rising up to the challenge and finding themselves in a position of authority and success where everyone else is going to be scrambling to try to learn the new tools. They then have the ability to create the art with the new tools and then get a better stronghold in their particular career or their niche. But of course, hey, listen, Luddite's going to Luddite, right? I didn't make it do that thing. I don't know. What the hell? Is this just,
Sergeant Hagrid kicked the door, draft in his hand, said, "You're a G.I. Harry, do you understand? No one's in his kit, just an M16, with orders to find Voldemort deep in the green. Ron's waiting in the gunboat, staring at the shore, thinking of Hogwarts he'll see no more. Hermione in costume, singing through the noise, a fever dream flown in to calm the boys. No magic in the jungle, just shadows and smoke. The heat's a curse, the gunshots choke. Out here in Nam, where men lose their minds, Harry's hunting a ghost through the vines. Dumbledore with the sun in his hair loves the smell of napalm in the morning air. He turns to Longbottom, voice worn and dry. Take the broomstick, Charlie, don't fly. Snape watching Harry as the tree lines burn, saying hope is a habit you will soon unlearn. Back on the river with nowhere to run, Harry and the darkness becoming one. No magic in the jungle, just shadows and smoke. The heat's a curse, the gunshots choke. Out here in Nam, where men lose their minds, Harry's hunting a ghost through the vines.
no.
The boat drifts past outposts, rotting in rain. Nothing ahead but the echo of pain. The whispers say Colonel Voldemort's gone insane. Deep in Cambodia, he carved his domain. Scared Potter Malfoy's asking half dead as bullets stitch the air overhead. The jungle takes what made you care. Harry's got 1,000-yard stare. They say no war ever really ends. It just waits for the next young men. Harry found Voldemort, didn't say a word. Two soldiers stared till the shots were heard. No magic in the jungle, just shadows and smoke. The heat's a curse, the gunshots choke. Out here in Nam, where men lose their minds, Harry's hunting a ghost through the vines. No sorting hat for the lost and damned, just the river swallowing all it can. Harry vanished in the endless black into the heart of darkness with no way back.
Interesting. So that, by the way, okay, guy drops this out there, right? Dropped it yesterday. 7.4 million clicks on fucking Twitter. Dobby's a free soldier. I just can't. Didn't we see this? I don't think we saw this one. There's been other ones that have happened. You know, Dobby fights for his freedom. Jesus Christ. It's just so crazy. It's so wild, you guys. Like, holy shit. And again, it's like, you know, people, you know, like this demon flying fox guy, right? Let me see if I can. Okay, so that was the thing. They linked to it here. This is the actual YouTube channel. 1.5 million views. Guy's got 452,000 subscribers. Oh my God, the Harry Potter Balencia. Does anyone here remember the AI Balencia trend? That was a fucking mess. You know, this guy does a bunch of shit. Let's see here. So he's got the Democratic Penguins Republic, Greenland, Greenland Defense Front, Amish Jackson, That Child Ain't Mine. Oh no. The Odyssey. Oh yeah, doing the Odyssey fix. Lord of the Samsung, the two Korean, the two. Oh no, no.
제국주의자들의 침략적 광기가 더욱 기승을 부리는 속에서도 표도동무와 충직한 샘동무는 사생결단의 행군길을 이어가고 있다. 적대적인 남쪽으로 한 걸음 한 걸음 다가갈수록 삼성기계의 마력이 더 세여져 동무의 정신을 자본주의적 의혹으로 좀먹고 있다.
우린 무엇을 믿고 버티는 거야, 샘 동무?
이 세상에는 주체가 있어요, 표도 동무. 그건 싸워서 지킬 만한 가치가 있습니다.
그들을 이끄는 것은 오직 더러운 구더기 같은 변절자 골룸의 가련한 그림자뿐이다.
도둑놈들, 네, 휘지면 상층까지 훔쳐갔어. 우리가 그걸 도로 찾아야 해.
한편 내부에서는 반역이 고개를 들고 더러운 반역자 사리만과 외세에 떠받들린 괴뢰 정권이 한패로 결탁하였다.
이제 누가 개성공업지구와 서울의 군대를 맞서 막아설 힘이 있단 말인가? 이 두 조선의 결탁이 이루는 그 위력을 누가 감당하겠는가?
이제 중성의 핵심 부대가 붙잡힌 동무들을 구출하고 조국의 심장부를 지켜내기 위해 질풍같이 달려간다. 저놈들이 농민들을 개성으로 끌고 간다. 의혹이 그들의 가슴을 꽉 틀어주려는 바로 그때 사상적 신념의 기적이 찾아온다.
설마 그런 일이?
나는 백의 간달포 동지다. 주체의 힘으로 강화되어 다시 보내졌다.
피와 강털로 맺어진 충성의 영웅들이 태우대 장군과 힘을 합친다. 인민군대와 함께 태성 요새에서 그 어떤 자본주의의 철괴도 뚫지 못할 항전의 성벽을 쌓아 올린다.
서부 방어선이 무너질 때 중국은 어디에 있었는가?
지금이야말로
This is just what the fuck. This is. I can't. No, Jesus Christ. No, this is Korea. This is Korea. The Battle of Two Koreas. So it's Lord of the Rings. The instead of the two towers, it's the two Koreas. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Mo here says, I'd pay good money for this. I think a lot of people would. Like, this is the crazy shit. You know what I'm talking about? Right? It's just the crazy stuff that happens with all this shit. Is that, like, they get into it here. That's fuck, man. That's crazy. What else this guy got? Breaking Bad, but World War II, full documentary. Oh, no. Oh, no. Here we go. Harry Potter, but World War II, full documentary. Kim Jong-Trump, official video. Star Wars, the Vietnam Wars. Okay, I got it, Ken. I think we watched one of these. Oh, Shrek, a Vietnam War fairy tale. A lot of the stuff is Vietnam. Oh, was this guy doing the Bigfoot shit? Okay. I will say I do miss when the Bigfoot memes were everywhere. I do miss the Bigfoot memes. Dune, Redneck Messiah, Family Guy, Redneck Misfits. I think we've seen this one. Obviously Twilight, Redneck Dawn, Shrek, Redneck Fairy Tale. Oh no, deep fried redneck. What is this? Jurassic Park, Pirates of the Swamps. Okay, so it's a lot of the same jokes, right? A lot of the same jokes with this kind of shit. The Return of the Redneck, 2.2 million views. The Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship. Okay, I got to see this. The Fellowship of the Redneck. Let's see.
In the swamp shower where the trail is standing by.
What the fuck?
Frodo's in the mud drinking homemade shine. Bill was on the porch telling tales all day long. Everything was quiet till the ring came along. Gandalf rode up on his mule named Joe. Said the ring's trouble, we gotta hit the road. With the swamp behind and the mountains ahead, we're just good old boys doing what Gandalf said. Frodo's carrying the ring and it's dragging slow, but we're marching through the mud with a steady flow. Aragorn's a tracker hunting coons at night. Gimli swinging axes, but his aim ain't right. Legolas is prepping, shooting bugs off logs. Harwin's painting toenails, yelling at the dogs. Saruman's a neighbor's always causing grief.
Okay, I'm kind of over it. It's not that it's bad. It's not bad. It's just like it's like I don't know. It just needs to be like faster paced, I guess. So how long before we get AI film TV festivals? Not long. Not long at all. What we're looking at with that, to be fair, is I mean, for one, like, you know, it has to be adopted, right? Like, it's a slow adoption process for all of this shit. And that's just the fucking truth of it. You know, it's a very slow adoption process for everything. And that is, you know, that's unfortunate because, like, it's been a while, you know, it's been ebbing, it's been flowing, it's been doing a bunch of shit. But one thing we have to kind of remember here is that a lot of these particular stories, you know, people just kind of, I don't want to say they're not ready for them. The audience, I think, is in some ways primed to get things like this, but at the same time, it can't just be slop. Okay. Like, you know, you're never going to beat the allegations of it being slop with some people. I think that's just the truth of it. But by and large, it's a situation where you've got like I've shown the Chronicles of Bone, I think, on here before. I'm not going to show it again tonight, but I recommend going on YouTube and looking up the Chronicles of Bone from Cavan the Kid. And that will give you an idea of you know, kind of where things are going. Isn't this the same guy that I shared the Redneck Firefly video with? I don't think it was the same guy because it would have shown up as us. Well, it was on a different channel. Let me see. Maybe it was. I was logged into a different channel. Let me see. Let me go back, take a look here. Okay. We might have seen his stuff. Okay, no, let me just refresh because I'm. What the fuck? I thought I logged over to the. Oh God. Hold on a second. Let me just go do that shit. Okay. Should be logged into the different account there. There we go. Okay. Well, it's still showing me as well. It might just still be on the same page. I don't quite know. I mean, they've got like Family Guy North Korean parody. They have like the Family Guy parody. I don't see Futurama parody. Okay, I got to see this.
Fry passed out with his beer half drained. Woke up in the future where the swamp remained. Leela found him with her one sharp eye. Said, it looks like evolution just passed you by. She waved to the ship and said, climb aboard. We're low on brains, but we're never bored. The rocket sip moonshine patched with spit. Fry muttered, if we don't crash, I'll call it legit. Swamp to the stars, it's a strange old ride where the future's a mess, but we hold our pride. Out in the cosmos, but still backwoods. This redneck future so misunderstood.
Looks like Seth Green.
Amy. Leela's the captain, steering with pride, keeps the swamp ship steady through the cosmic tide. Bender's guzzling shine straight from the tank while stripping spare parts off the rocket's flank. Hermes is steaming his budget in pain. Every lost bolt drives him insane. Amy's in heels, her patience run dry, yelling next swamp gas stop, I'm ready to die. Swamp to the stars, it's a strange old ride where the future's a mess, but we hold our pride. Out in the cosmos, but still backwoods, this redneck future so misunderstood. Farnsworth laughing, this ship might fly. If not, you'll choke when the engines die. Zoidberg's chewing on a busted fan, saying it's better than roadkill fried in a pan. Brannigan smirked, his trousers too tight, tried seducing a gator under the moonlight. Fry leaned back in the rocket seat, saying this redneck future sure feels sweet. Swamp to the stars, it's a strange old ride where the future's a mess, but we hold our pride. Out in the cosmos, but still backwoods, this redneck future so misunderstood.
Okay, I mean, like that, you know, all right, that was definitely, those designs are creepy, yeah. AI is like Mogwai, when the people are ready, AI will be waiting, I guess, I guess. I just find the whole thing to be wild. It's just like the creativity of these people, you know, and, but I will say that even though there's a lot of creativity there, they also pigeonhole themselves, you know. Like, because like, oh, let's just keep doing the same bit, you know, and it's because they want to use copyrighted IP to be able to do it. Why? Because, well, it's instantly recognizable, and the curiosity factor will definitely get people to come on in and check it out. And I think that's pretty accurate. Let's see here. Just to let you know, I posted a pic of Superman killings. Okay. Where is that at in the Discord? Let's see. Where? Under Vids Gallery. Okay, thank you. All right. I don't always get notifications from Discord. Oh, wow. Holy shit. This is a panel. Okay, hold on. We're going to open the link. All right. Let's see here. This is a panel. I don't even know if I can read this on my end. We're going to see what's going on here. Who's Maduro? Mo, shut up. All right. Can I even zoom in? Oh, wait, hold on. Nope. Give me a second here. It does all that fucking resize and shit. Oh, fucking god damn it. Hold on. I gotta save it. Give me a second. Save image. Okay. All right. Oh god, where the fuck did it save it to? Save image. Oh, wrong fucking file. Okay. There we go. All right. So we got this one instead. Okay, so this is here. Let's see. This is Superman versus Zod? Who's Zod in this case? Oh, he's got that's his Zod, looking like M. Bison, I guess. Okay. All right, so. He was the last living human on this world. Now that he is gone, there is nothing more to keep me here. Nothing. Except the disposition of the 3 last sermons of the Krypton of this universe. You may have robbed us of our powers, Superman, but that will avail you nothing. We will find a way to get them back. We will find a way to get to your reality. We will destroy you and your world. You cannot stop us. You cannot even return us to the Phantom Zone. You're right. Zeora, I have no idea how to rebuild the Phantom Zone projector Quexuel destroyed. Nevertheless, I am forced to find the way to stop the 3 of you once and for all. You have ruthlessly murdered all the people on this planet. 5 billion humans. I'm doing it because I can't read this shit correctly. It's so fucking, it's like so wordy. You know, That is a crime without equal. The Nazis' Holocaust pales by comparison. Yeah, 6 million to 5 billion people. It pales by comparison. But I guess the reason why you had to add it in there is people had a way to kind of figure it all out. Okay. All right. I'm just going to skip ahead here. All right. He's all like, and I guess not. I guess I'll do this here. And what can you do? You who wears the mantle of Superboy, you share his pathetic idealism. You cherish life, even ours, and that is what makes you weak. I'm not weak, Zod. It is you who are weak. Yes, it's you who are the ball lickers. You three who have used your powers only for evil, that is the easy way. And while you are powerless now, you are still Kryptonians. What I must do now is harder than anything I have done before. But as the last representative of the law and justice on this world, it falls to me to act as judge, jury, and executioner. Green kryptonite? No! Superman, don't do this, please. It wasn't me. It was an innocent foil, a dupe of Quixel and Zeora. What? What are you lying? And then he kills him. So he chokes out Zod. Oh, no. Oh, no, he uses green kryptonite to fucking murk them all. Crazy. Anyway. I didn't know. I haven't been able to see your un-American Nazi comment. It's not popping up. It's, okay. I mean, that's cool that, again, Superman murked the dude, right? Brought out, so they killed 5 billion people, and he pulls out green kryptonite, and it just fucking kills them. And that's actually pretty brutal. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty fucked up. That's pretty brutal. That's a pretty brutal way to go. That, and that's not even one of those, I don't have, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you either moments, right? Where you have that nice, absolution, right? The absolvement of of your involvement in that particular scenario. In this case, he's opening a jar of peanut butter, but it's really green kryptonite, and he just watches him die. God, where are some people there on that one, right? Superman never fucking kills. We just read a comic where he fucking murked Zod and shit, but Zack Snyder does it. Everyone loses their fucking mind, man. Command Unit here, thank you, says you should really try Novel AI. It's good. You can edit the memory of the story and edit the story. Oh, it has a choose your own adventure. I use Novel Crafter. If you know what Novel Crafter is. I haven't tried with Novel AI. I'm trying to find the voice I'm looking for. I'm trying to find the voice that I want for everything else. I recorded this long version story last night, and I listened to it after we were all done streaming because I couldn't sleep, and so I edited everything down and got it up, and it's all right. It's all right. I don't know if I would publish that one as a story, but having it be something people can listen to is one thing, I guess. Let's see here. Superman kills Zod in the theatrical cut of Superman 2 when he pushes a depowered Zod down a shaft into the Fortress of Solitude. Oh, yeah, okay, I remember that one. He crushes his hand and does it, right? Let's see here. In Superman 2, he even smiles as he kills Zod. Yeah, I know, right? Let Superman kill. What are you talking about, Brian? Ever since wait, are you talking about in the Discord? Or are you talking about on fucking, are you talking about on, Facebook and shit? I don't know. I personally have not seen a great deal of slop on my shorts feed. And I watch pro AI content. So it's you figure if you get the pro AI content, there would be a fair amount of slop, right? There'd be a lot of that. Nope, I don't get none of it. I ain't getting none of it. And that is fine with me. I mean, I like it and everything else. Oh no, the Maduro talk. Okay. Yeah, but you're still spelling Maduro wrong. All right. Let's see here. What time? I got to check and see what time I start work tomorrow. Because I go back to work tomorrow. You know, go back, make that fucking money, man. It's going to be a slow weekend, so I'll probably work on some more short stories and everything else. Like I said, you know, I do like doing them. They are a lot of fun, you know, to do. I just wish that I could do, you know, I wish that I had the ability, I should say, to put them out faster and like, I don't know. That's where like the AI voice is nice, but I don't want to spend the money on that. Okay. I see. I remember seeing a Weird Al generated video Star Trek: The Next Generation trailer trash. I don't think Weird Al fucks with AI though. I don't think he does, and that's okay. He doesn't have to. He does not have to. All right. What am I doing tomorrow? Tomorrow is the 22nd. Okay. Sorry, I just got to take a look real quick. All right. 2:30. Jesus Christ, that's early. Wow. What a slow ass day. All right. Well, okay. All right. We're kind of slow right now, so it's gonna be a slow weekend. There are some interesting TMNT AI videos on a channel that are pretty good. It's classic 90s turtles. When am I getting home from work on Sunday? Fuck if I know, dude. I don't know my schedule like the day out. Like it's slow this weekend. No, Brian, the Lord of the Rings extended were in the theaters last weekend. They did $11 million for all 3 films. This weekend, Sinners comes back actually. So they're bringing Sinners back in theaters, I think, before the announcement of the Oscars. And we'll have to see about that one there. Let's see here. What was that, Sean? I want to take a look at what you're talking about there. Oh, yeah, Mercy comes out. Is anyone here going to go see Mercy? Because you've got, what is it? You've got Mercy, you've got Send Help, and you've got Return to Silent Hill all opening this weekend. Like, who thought that was a good idea? You know, when we talk about movie theaters fucking crapping themselves out, right? Like, it does really make you wonder. You know, quite frankly, like, what are people fucking thinking? Mercy looks, it doesn't look good. Do you know who directed Mercy? It was Tamir Betmetnabov, the guy who did Wanted, right? It's meant to be a take on the whole screen life stuff, like missing and searching and things like that. This is going to be a rough weekend with the storm. Yeah, we're looking at, what are we getting here in the Northwest? Actually, well, shit, dude, we're not getting shit. We're actually getting decent weather. I don't know how it's going to be throughout the rest of the country, though. I'll tell you this, I do want to see Send Help quite a bit because I think Send Help is going to be fun. And classic 90s turtles. Let me see. And then Mercy is something I'll definitely watch. You know, I will definitely watch when it hits streaming. What is the name? What is the name of the channel? Is it just 90s turtles? What is it? Hold on, let me see here. Because I want to see what you're talking about there. All right. There are some interesting TMNT AI videos on a channel that's pretty good. It's classic 90s turtles. I didn't find the channel. I typed in classic 90s turtles and I didn't find it. Let's see here. There's one here with the foot. Wow, what the fuck? Hold up. This just came out yesterday. This just came out yesterday. This is interesting here. Okay, hold on. I meant AI of Star Trek. Oh, sorry. It's hard. Weird. You say weird AI. I see it as Weird Al. Okay, my bad. Thank you. I meant weird AI video of Star Trek Next Generation trailer trash. Yeah, it's okay. Can you post that in the vids gallery if you can link it? And I'll check it out. Let's see. The rest of the country is screwed. They're predicting 13 inches of ice in Texas. People will die for sure. Oh yeah, and where exactly is the senator from Texas, Ted Cruz, going? He was caught on a plane today heading to California, of all places. Strickland says, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to see a movie this weekend. My regular theater doesn't have any listings for Sunday. Probably closed from the upcoming storm. Yeah, probably. Type in Ninja Turtles AI. All right. Okay, I will check that out. But here's this one I just came across. This is the lost fourth Ninja Turtles movie. It's a fan trailer / parody. Yes, Ted Cruz is hightailing it out of Texas once again right before bad weather strikes. Gee, I wonder about that.
In this city, shadows remember, for our generations believed the foot was gone. You don't outgrow fear. You just learn to carry it.
Oh, holy shit.
We have confirmed reports tonight that the Foot Clan has returned to New York City. Stay indoors and do not approach anyone suspicious.
And the streets begin to whisper a name they swore they'd never speak again. This isn't the story you remember. It's the one you grew up
into. Casey Jones is fucking, oh my God. All right, listen. Hear me out. Yes. All about that was yes. Now look, is it good? No. Is it, but like, does it hit that immediate shit from when I was a kid? Absolutely. Oh, that was great. That was pretty cool. That was pretty based. I like that. I did. Oh, wow. Okay. What was that one you said? You said it was Ninja Turtles Ghostbusters? Ninja Turtles Ghostbusters AI? Is that it? Okay, here we go. Hey, same guy, by the way.
Hey, this isn't slime. It's ooze.
They're ready to believe you and eat pizza.
We got one!
You know where this piece of art belongs. In a shredder.
We're the heroes in a half-shell, slime fighters too. Busting ghosts and eating pizza, who you gonna call, dude?
I don't like the look of that guy.
How do you think I feel looking at 4 copyright infringements? Can you tell me what's on this card?
Is it spaghetti?
Who you gonna call? Pizza Hut.
Green slime flows where the ghosts all dwell. This town is haunted.
Cowabunga! Radical! Totally awesome! What do we call this guy, Ed? The Shred Mellow.
What about Oroku Mashi?
Bebop and Rocksteady.
You guys are incredible! We love you, New York! Thank you so much!
They're ready to believe you and eat pizza.
Wow. So many thoughts about that. Oh my God. Oh geez. So many thoughts. I mean, like, it definitely hits that nostalgia beat that I love from all that old shit. That's really funny. Oh my God. That's pretty good. But okay, I got to close it out, guys. We've been on 2.5 hours. I need to get to some sleeps since my work day starts early tomorrow. But thank you guys for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. Obviously, we were just hanging out. I didn't really know what I was talking about. Batman, Christina Hodson, I think I mentioned in the beginning. Whatever. We'll see what happens. And then I will chit-chat with you guys next week. Thank you all again. Have yourself a great night, and peace out.